I recently had a long call with a friend who lives in Dallas. I told him I wanted to visit Universal Studios in Orlando, but hesitated because I hated the idea of going alone. His response stayed with me. You need to develop the habit of doing things alone, not because you always have to, but because sometimes you need to. That conversation inspired me to rethink the way I see independence and solitude. And today I want to share why learning to do things alone can be one of the most empowering habits you'll ever develop. Let's dive in. Most of us are wired to avoid being alone. We associate it with loneliness, awkwardness, or even failure. Society often glorifies togetherness, group dinners, relationships, shared experiences, and let's be honest, those things are wonderful. They add richness to life. But here's the thing, they should never become a crutch or a drag, keeping you from exploring, growing, or enjoying life on your own terms. Learning to do things alone isn't about isolation. It's about freedom. It's about reclaiming your power to experience life fully, whether you're surrounded by people or not. From books like Quiet by Susan Cain to the philosophies of Ralph Waldo Emerson, the message is clear. Solitude isn't something to fear. It's a tool for growth, self-discovery, and empowerment. When you learn to do things alone, you take control of your life, free from the need for external validation. Think about solo travelers, people who pack their bags and venture into the unknown without a companion. They don't just see new places, they discover themselves. They learn to rely on their instincts, embrace challenges, and build resilience. Whether it's eating alone at a cafe in Paris or hiking a remote trail, every solo experience strengthens their sense of independence. Could you imagine what you'd discover about yourself if you stepped out of your comfort zone like that? In The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, the author emphasizes the importance of artist dates, solo outings designed to nurture creativity. Cameron argues that when you spend time alone, you unlock parts of your mind that are inaccessible in the noise of group settings. Whether it's a walk in the park or an afternoon exploring a museum, these moments of solitude fuel your creativity and inner growth. Similarly, Cal Newport in Deep Work explains that solitude allows us to focus on what truly matters. By stepping away from distractions, we gain clarity and make meaningful progress toward our goals. The lesson? Solitude isn't loneliness. It's an opportunity to connect with your deeper self. Steve Jobs was famous for his long solo walks. He believed that stepping away from the crowd and spending time alone helped him think creatively and make better decisions. These solitary moments weren't about isolation. They were about clarity and focus. Imagine the ideas and insights you could uncover if you gave yourself the space to think deeply, just like Jobs did. Another powerful reason to learn to do things alone is the confidence it builds. When you rely on yourself to handle situations, whether it's dining out, attending an event, or traveling, you prove to yourself that you're capable. You stop waiting for others to validate your choices and start taking charge of your happiness. In You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero, the author emphasizes the importance of stepping into your own power. She writes, "When you trust yourself and act with confidence, you attract the life you want. Learning to do things alone is a big part of building that trust." Let's take the example of someone who's always avoided dining out alone because they're afraid of looking awkward. One day, they decide to face the fear and take themselves out to a nice dinner. At first, it feels uncomfortable, but as the meal goes on, they start to enjoy the experience. They notice the flavors of the food, the ambiance of the restaurant, and the joy of their own company. By the end of the night, they've built confidence and realized that being alone doesn't mean being lonely. Ralph Waldo Emerson, in his essay Self-reliance, famously wrote, "Trust thyself. Every heart vibrates to that iron string." Emerson believed that true strength comes from within. When you learn to stand on your own, you free yourself from the limitations of others' expectations. You start living for yourself, not for the approval of the crowd. This philosophy reminds us that doing things alone isn't a fallback. It's a choice, a statement of independence. Let's bring it back to my conversation about Universal Studios. Imagine deciding to go on that trip alone. At first, the idea feels daunting. Navigating the park, eating alone, taking photos with no one to share them with. But as you explore, you realize something incredible. You're not waiting for anyone else to make the day fun. You're riding the attractions you want, taking breaks when you feel like it, and truly enjoying the freedom to do things your way. By the end of the trip, you've not only had an amazing experience, but also proven to yourself that you don't need to rely on anyone else to create happiness. One of the biggest misconceptions about doing things alone is that it's lonely. But loneliness isn't about being alone, it's about feeling disconnected. When you embrace solitude as a tool for self-growth, you're not disconnecting, you're reconnecting with yourself. Brené Brown, in The Gifts of Imperfection, explains that true belonging starts with belonging to yourself. When you can enjoy your own company, you stop fearing solitude and start seeing it as a gift. Learning to do things alone doesn't just change your relationship with yourself, it changes the way you interact with the world. You become more confident, more self-assured, and less reliant on others for your happiness. And ironically, this makes your relationships stronger because you're approaching them from a place of independence, not neediness. People who are comfortable doing things alone are often the ones who inspire others. They're the ones who lead by example, showing that happiness isn't something you find, it's something you create. So, why should you learn to do things alone? Because it's not just about going to a theme park or eating at a restaurant. It's about building confidence, finding clarity, and discovering the joy of your own company. It's about living life on your own terms and proving to yourself that you're capable of handling anything that comes your way. The next time you hesitate to do something because you don't have someone to join you, remember this: solitude isn't a limitation, it's an opportunity. Take that trip, go to that event, and see what happens when you stop waiting and start doing. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content on personal growth and self-discovery. Give this video a thumbs up and hit the notification bell so you never miss out. Thanks for watching, and remember, you don't need permission to enjoy your own company. You already have everything you need.